Serious.
All right,
Yeah,
we back. We
I'm
back
serious.
live, y'all.
Shit.
What's your favorite new
Around.
drink that we don't get sponsorship for, Trey?
We
I didn't
can,
say any
sure.
names. I put it up in the.
No, you can put it up there, bro. Go ahead. For the listeners, while I sit up here and delete this other stream now I just created.
Speaking of sponsorships,
The
shout out to.
bamboo.
I'm gonna try that.
The bamboo is for who is that for?
It's
For
very smooth, bro,
it's for
and it had you feeling
Yeah, I'm
real
gonna
good,
try
bro.
it out. What you say? This rum?
Mm-hmm.
that's for the
Try it.
sophisticated man. Dog. While we up here, while I'm sitting this, have y'all seen how Fabulous has been rapping? I sent a couple of them to the group chat, but I don't know.
Yeah,
If
listen.
Hey man, I don't know what inspired him, but I appreciate it.
Hey,
go ahead.
no, I said I saw you sent it in the group chat yesterday. I literally was sitting in here for like 45 minutes.
Just listen
Get
to
on Fab, dog. He's going insane. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Fab need his flowers.
Yeah.
Oh, Fab.
Yeah, definitely OFAB. You know what I think it is, man. He was originally releasing those freestyles on SoundCloud. Like he would do freestyle Fridays, and he had a couple other freestyles that he would do over the years on SoundCloud. And I think somebody got smart and was like, let's just do, since he's gonna be doing freestyle series, let's just go ahead and create a YouTube channel for it. So now he's rapping like just local. Somebody's filming them and they're doing like miniature music videos for every one of his freestyles. And like I said, he was number 48 on music video streaming on YouTube, which is huge, especially because Fab has been relatively vacant on there. You know what I'm saying? Like he almost had 1 million subscribers and everything on YouTube, which he only had like 497 last year. So I just think that's dope, bro. Like I think, like I said, I'm just glad that he back to it. Like it's real dope to see veteran rappers that can rap still have it like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, especially be engaged to actually do it. Because I'm sure that's not easy. Especially when you were a little bit removed from it. So always good to see the veterans still in rare form. Shout out to them
another soul
because we need them. We need them veterans because
man, absolutely.
I'm not young and I'm not listening to half of that shit. So
right.
Man, get a youngins a try, man.
No, absolutely. Get your
back.
money, my brothers, and do you. But some of that shit, it's just I'm gonna try it, but I'm probably not gonna get past track 5. I'm getting tired of these damn 30-second songs.
Now that's weird. Like they pass right around that 2-minute mark. You'd be like, damn.
Right. Like give me 2 verses at least. God damn. I need to stay off them perks.
You know these young people got low retention, man.
Y'all even forcing my man Freddie Gibbs to do 45-second songs. Like,
hey, Freddie album was good.
Fire. Like, that's what I'm saying. I need 2 verses from him, at least 2 verses, and then you can do your little features. But don't be doing no damn 1 verse for me. I need 2, at least, if you can rap, or if you just make good music. I ain't even tripping.
Yeah, that Freddie Gibbs album is 100% fire. I finally listened to it yesterday. He definitely tried, like on the first half of the album, he was trying some new flows and some new cadences and kind of singing a little bit, which is kind of not the Freddie Gibbs that I like. I get what he was doing because he's making an album, you know what I'm saying? But I definitely rock with it. I don't know if y'all covered that already while I stepped away for a second.
No, it's a good album.
Yeah, real good album. All right, back to what I was saying though. Like I said, I was trying to say before the live stream was acting crazy. I was basically trying to say that I was going through a little bit of creative depression due to the fact that just the state of the world, man, state of hip hop, because hip hop is our culture and we cover a lot of that on this podcast. You know what I'm saying? Like we hip hop fans, we of the culture. Y'all hear us talk about it all the time. We come from the old barbershop days of sitting around screaming in the barbershop about who better. You know what I'm saying? All that. That's where we from. So just to state it, like losing PNB Rock, which I wasn't a fan of. No disrespect to him. I didn't know his music at all. Wasn't a fan of him at all. So I can't sit up here and pretend like I'm like like that was something
Right.
that hit hard. This is something that's constantly been
part of the
going
culture.
on.
Right.
That's constantly been going on in the culture, and it's crazy. So it was 100% having an effect on me. Not to mention we going into a kind of economic slump, or recession, whatever you want to call it, and the government don't seem to be. They sit up here lying to our face. Blaze said it a couple weeks ago. He was like they acting like nothing is going on, and they just sitting up here lying to our face, man. And I know a lot of our people is gonna be blindsided by this.
If you been watching, it's been a steady decline, and they keep telling us, "Oh no, we good."
Right.
Mm-hmm.
America.
There you go. Business
America.
So
America.
yeah. So if y'all wondering where we've been,
Kindle the eternal pessimist.
yeah, that was where I had to be because that's so funny. But I really try my hardest, man, not to be so
Gotta
like
be optimistic. That's
yeah,
right.
yeah, but not to be so humdrum. You know what I'm saying? This shit,
That's
but
right.
like every now and again, man, it definitely gets to me because I can kind of push through it typically, but for some reason, man, this shit was hitting me a little bit harder than normal. But anyway, like I said, I'm just glad that y'all been keeping y'all mental together because it was definitely weighing on me differently. You know what I'm saying? So,
All right. And people deal with the depression in different ways, or or act out in different ways. So just keep your head high, man. Like you said,
I know you wrong. You ain't want to come on here and
fake
go into this crazy rant.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, or just fake my energy. So I definitely had to just like I said,
dial
keep
back.
Because exactly. Because I try to keep the energy good on the show, man. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
But that's where we've been. If the listeners been wondering, because we ain't putting nothing out in 4 weeks. So, but now we back, man. Hopefully, like I said, I'm kind of out that slump, so we can get back to it, man. I'm definitely gonna refine some things. This show is gonna look drastically different in the coming weeks. I'm gonna kind of change the way we produce stuff. It should actually streamline some stuff, so we ain't using Zoom so much, or relying on OBS so much wear and tear on my computer. So that's gonna be a change here. And then we also got Kyrie, who everybody's familiar with, one of our co-hosts. He got his own show now called No Time to Explain on YouTube. Y'all should go subscribe to his channel. I'll post a link in the
shouts to Kyrie.
Yeah, I'll post a description.
Yes, sir.
Of this. So I'll be posting that on our
I'm about to get his ass real too.
all right, I'll post that on our audio side here in the upcoming days. It's already 3 episodes out, so yeah, shouts out to Kyrie, man. And also what else? Yeah. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. Be on the lookout for No Time to Explain. That's gonna be on our audio side. And I think that's about it for church announcements. Just kind of catching you up to date on where we've been at and everything. But
And shout out to Nurse Madi for once again.
Yes, sir.
He was here last week for the Revolt Summit. We went to that and did some networking. And then yesterday he was at Pusha T's concert.
Chopping it up with Push.
Did some networking with him, and he's already promoting the water on his Twitter. And I don't know if it's on his IG. I don't think I follow him on there, but shout out to Nurse Madi. Continue to do what you're doing, my brother. You have my support and our support.
Yes, always.
And I ain't got a case in about a month, so I need to reach back out to you and figure out why that is, because I'm fiending. So, and that's probably my fault. I probably ain't update something on my account.
Nigga done resorted to Dasani.
Right? That ain't gonna happen. But I need that water. I can't. I don't like drinking no other water now.
Man, I feel the same. I gotta order me some cases of it, man, because I definitely haven't had it yet.
That shit is fire. So look,
Yeah.
No, it's fire.
It takes care of me.
Yeah, that's what's up. Up. Yeah, shout out to brother Marty. Also, since we brought up to No Time to Explain, I guess this would be a good time to kind of segue into the Rachel Nichols conversation. So if for our listeners who aren't familiar, was it 2020 when Rachel Nichols ESPN wanted Maria Taylor to cover the NBA Finals, and Rachel Nichols didn't want to. And it was some foul play, but Rachel Nichols didn't want to relinquish her position to Maria Taylor. So I guess somebody wiretapped her. She left the app running on her computer or something like that. in her hotel room, and they got her saying some racist comments, so to speak, or some I wouldn't call them racist. I just
not necessarily
Yeah,
racist,
not necessarily
wouldn't.
culturally
racist.
insensitive.
Culturally insensitive, controversial.
Yeah.
Controversial is a better way of saying it. And I'm actually going to read what they actually
I
had
think
her on
that's the way
video
it was
say.
spun. I don't even know if it was that.
Yeah, I just actually seen it. I literally yesterday was watching the interview. I didn't finish it
Mm-hmm.
with her on is it
All the
All the
Smoke?
Smoke?
Yeah, All the Smoke.
All
Yeah,
the
all the
Smoke.
smoke.
Yeah, she just was on there, and she went very in detail about what she was talking about and all of that. So
yeah. So basically, this is what the controversial comments that they caught her saying. So somebody was recording her for a while, and this is what she's saying on All the Smoke. She said, if you need to give her more things to do because you're feeling pressure about your crappy long time record of diversity, which, by the way, I know personally from a female side of it, like, go for it. Nichols said to Adam Middleton, an advisor to athletes, including LeBron James in 2020. Just find somewhere else. She was basically upset about because she's been working in the industry for 25 years, and she felt like she was being slighted. She felt like this was her, she was finally up, and she wanted to do have coverage of the NBA Finals, and she didn't feel like Maria Taylor, who had only been in the industry about 8 years at that time, a black woman, should overstep her. How did y'all feel about her comments, or that comment, even though it was said in private and it was done dirty, so to speak? How did y'all feel about her
At the time, ESPN spun the shit out of this, by the way.
Yeah.
Because
Yep.
they had you looking at it from a totally different perspective. They made it purely racial.
Yeah.
But from because I watched the podcast and I understand what she was saying. She was like, this was in my contract. Like, I've been waiting a long time to do this. And now because y'all under the pressure, y'all want to put her in there and kind of, shit on me. Yeah. Which I'd be pissed about too. Shit.
Yeah. And Kyrie,
absolutely, bro.
Go ahead, Trey. I'm trying to cut you off.
No, but absolutely though. It don't seem like she was having a personal conversation, and she was like, just because y'all have been messing up or fucking up for years and years with diversity and women hiring and whatnot, I ain't trying to step to the side for that. I've been here 25 years. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And Kyrie,
so that's what I got. That's what I got from it. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, and Kyrie brought up a point, something that I guess it was some controversy with Maria Taylor prior to her giving them wanting Rachel Nichols to succeed her coverage to Maria Taylor. So it almost felt like reprisal, like, okay, if we don't give Maria Taylor this opportunity, she's either going to quit or she's going to file some kind of EEO against us. He brought that up.
She got right up out of there after they gave it to her with NBC to make more money.
Exactly.
Shout out to Maria.
Exactly.
But definitely shout out to her.
Yeah, shout out to Maria Taylor. But let me ask y'all this. So, do y'all feel like Rachel Nichols should have succeeded especially because this was 2020, mind you. This was in the wake of George Floyd, and I don't really want to conflate these two incidents, but I do, because ESPN was trying to force this diversity, you know what I'm saying, at the time, because whether they were in hot water or not, whatever the case may be, they were trying to force this diversity. So do y'all feel like because of George Floyd, like I said, because if this was any other time, I'd be like, I kind of like, man, kind of fuck Maria Taylor, you know what I'm saying? But in the wake of George Floyd, do y'all feel like she should have gave Maria Taylor that? Y'all don't feel like that at all?
I don't. One thing ain't got nothing to do with the other. This is business. I got a contract. And I don't give a fuck about none of that.
And this is, go ahead, and I'll tell you my line of I'll tell you my line of thinking. Did you have something to say, Kendall? Because I thought you were about to say something.
Well, no, I was just gonna say, of course, it has something to do with the George Floyd situation. Because again, ESPN has had a history. There you go. Has had a history of being culturally insensitive and things of that nature. So again, the bottom line is the money. So you're starting to see the shift. And I think that they were trying to do a diversity fill in, because of Maria's prowess. She has been working hard throughout ESPN and was doing her thing. So they wanted to give her that. And I think they wanted to include some color into that whole, genre of sport, because the NBA is majority African-American as far as the players are concerned. And I think that that's kind of the shift that they were trying to move towards. So it wasn't necessarily Rachel's fault. You know what I'm saying? She still was, I guess from what I was hearing, she knew that she was about to get the job, and she gave her flowers or sent her some flowers or some other shit I read. I didn't really just keep up on it, to be honest. But, so it's not necessarily Rachel's fault, but you're going to be a part of that issue. If they're going to make that change, they're going to make that change. And you saw they did it anyway with Malika Andrews. They got her in there now. So, they were probably bound to fill that spot anyway. And then she probably was going to move over to, because it was the NBA countdown. Is that what she was, or was it the jump that she had lost?
The jump.
Yeah.
Right. So, because I think she was still going to be doing NBA countdown though, right? Or
no, she was still going to be doing the jump. And she wanted to tie her finals appearance into the
finals
show.
Appearance. Okay, gotcha. Okay. But yeah, she's so I think it's she was a collateral damage basically. You know what I'm saying? And she was just a part of that. So it's messed up, but that's just the way of business and what they pretend like they want to feel.
Black, that shit wasn't fair to me. What? Right. I don't care. That was bullshit.
Yeah, and like I said, and here's my thing about it, because we say ESPN. America has a diversity issue. No
denying that.
Yeah, America has a diversity issue. So with all these corporations, you know what I'm saying, it kind of trickles down. And then and I want to go back here, and I understand the contractual obligations and everything, and this is why I think it was such a big deal with George Floyd, because George Floyd literally, that started a demographic shift in this country on the wake of him. He was basically a martyr. We hadn't seen anything this powerful since like the civil rights movement, when it came to like black people moving forward and diversity. You know what I'm saying? Emmett Till, facts. And that's what Emmett Till was what kicked off the civil rights movement. That's why I even pointed back there. But anyway, back to what I was saying. And this is why I feel like it was important with George Floyd. I know it might not seem like it has anything to do with each other because this is sports and whatnot, but like I said, America has a diversity issue. I hate to go all the way back here, but during the women's suffrage movement, Susan B. Anthony, Elizabeth Catton, these are the women who are basically responsible for modern feminism. They didn't even want black men to get the right to vote before white women. You know what I'm saying? So we got a white woman who's been working in this field for 25 years. You know what I mean? We've seen how hard it is for black women to get a leg up in corporate America, period. Mm-hmm. So I felt like it was kind of apropos for them in the wake of George Floyd, regardless of what the messy circumstances behind the scene was to give Maria Taylor that position over Rachel Nichols. And I get it was controversial. Maybe the next year, you know what I'm saying, they could have gave it to her or whatever the case may be. But like I said, it was less so to do with race and actually ESPN being a shitty company towards Maria Taylor, which is why she stepped out of there anyway. So
exactly.
But
yeah, I'm saying they both gone now. It just seems like some affirmative action type shit. I don't know.
And so you don't agree with affirmative action?
Not in that sense.
And here's the reason why. And I mean I agree with it. I agree with affirmative action because all the shitty shit that's happened to us as Black Americans to hold us back. Like sometimes, it might not be fair to a white person in a certain position. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times we are better than them. A lot of times they benefit from nepotism and all this type of stuff. But I feel like just from this standpoint, like I said, that forced diversity was needed, and that's just my take on it. Like I said, I know it's not a popular opinion, but
right. And she'll be fine. I mean, she's Rachel Nichols.
She already Showtime.
She's already doing Showtime, right? Exactly. She's no offense. She's white. She'll be all right. I mean, let's
say she gonna lay on her feet.
Let's stop acting like she's been railroaded and she's never gonna work again. Yes.
No,
ESPN
I don't feel sorry for her.
No, not you. I'm just saying in the broad spectrum of things. No, I ain't coming at y'all takes. I'm just saying on the broad spectrum of things. She's gonna be all right. She lost that worldwide leader in sports, but I highly doubt they fired her and said get up out of here. She just was probably pissed and was like, I'm not gonna be a part of this no more.
And I'm sure she got paid.
Right, and they was gonna give her something. She would have did something else. She would have did some form of basketball. But she felt slighted. You know what I'm saying? And that's really where it is. And she's not wrong for how she feels though. You know what I'm saying? So, but like Jerome was saying, I mean. When Black women been getting pissed on in job and work settings forever. So ESPN took advantage of that because of the shitty diversity that they've had over the years. I mean, the only Black people we knew was Black men in ESPN. Stuart Scott and I can't remember my man name. Bald guy. He ain't bald. He got like a real low haircut. But I can't remember his name.
Look, you having a hard time.
There's only been like 2 or 3.
That's what I'm saying. You having a hard time even naming Black male talent. So
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
right.
And Sage Steele. and we know why they love her. So
right. So
she's gonna say.
So that's my issue with, like I said, it's a lack of diversity. And like I said, I hate to say it, but George Floyd was the martyr and was the new Emmett Till, so to speak. Lazy comparison, but like you know what I mean. Like he was the one who sparked all this demographic shift in our country. So.
And it wasn't like they wanted to do it. It's just that they saw that like you said, the demographic has changed. So now, oh shit, okay, we might lose money if people start tweeting or if people start doing this or that, and ESPN ain't in the business of losing money. They're still number one right now. You know what I'm saying? So in many of their shows, from First Take been number one since Stephen A. jumped on with Skip Bayless. So and they've been number one the whole time. Every other show, Fox News, Fox Sports, any of them, they ain't beating that stuff out in the morning. So ESPN is still the worldwide leader, and they want to continue making their money. So you saw the numbers when Serena played her last game. It was some of the highest numbers in tennis, and it was broadcasted on ESPN. So they all, they're about that money. So if they see the shift and they need to change, they will. Yeah. They just will do it reluctantly.
They told Rachel she had to take one for the team.
Exactly.
And that's my whole thing. Sorry. It's like what's the issue with her taking one for the team? You've been in the field for 25 years. Like you ain't
right. Well, it's still slighted. Like to her point, she's still a woman, so they're clearly not giving them the same chances or
the pay still ain't
opportunities as they would white or even some black men that are five of us.
The pay.
I've been here 25 years. This is my opportunity. It's in my contract. I ain't trying to hear nothing.
I honor that shit.
I ain't either, bro. Yeah. I ain't either.
And like I said, I feel y'all take. It's just, to me, it's just like. So y'all remember a couple years ago, and this is related, but kind of related. It was a white actor. See, this is how you use your power and your privilege. Like, it was a white actor. I can't remember, white woman actor. She was finding how much her black co-parts were making on a movie, and she fought for them to make more money. And I think it was Viola Davis and a couple other ones, but I don't remember the white actor the woman I'm referring to.
I vaguely remember that.
You vaguely remember that? See, that's what I'm saying. That's how you use your diversity. So your privilege. So maybe if she would have fought for it, instead of saying, "Oh yeah, she's very talented, and I hope she gets another opportunity somewhere else," but I work for this. Like,
it might have been room for them to both do it.
That's what I was just about to get to. Like, maybe hey, we'll co-host it, which would have been dope.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But instead of saying, "No, this is my opportunity," that speaks to your level of privilege right there. Instead of even trying to reason with the situation and make it like that. But I don't know.
I mean, I get what you're saying, bro. But like, she can't have her own opinion. Like maybe she felt like, man, I've been sacrificing for 25 years. No, I don't want to sacrifice no more. This is my time. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. No. I'm not saying.
You know what I mean? Like,
no, I'm not saying that. Rachel,
she should be able to have an opinion of. She should be able to feel that way and talk about that in private. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. No.
ESPN. She actually said on the All the Smoke podcast, bro. She said ESPN had her room bugged and all that.
No, it wasn't tapped. What it was is she was using the app, but it was a new app for her to do virtual calls on the laptop, and she left her line open, and bro. What she said on all the Smoke. No, this is where I'm getting this from. I'm getting this from All the Smoke. She left the app running in her in the background in her computer. It was her work computer, and it was like Zoom or something. And they just sat there and watched it.
She said somebody just sat there and watched.
Yeah, watched it the whole time. So yeah, they didn't actually bug it.
Oh, so she was had her work stuff still on.
Yeah, it was user. It was exactly, it was user. But I'm not. Here's what I'm saying, and I don't want this to be missed. Like, I'm not saying that Rachel Nichols is wrong for the way she feels or anything like that. I'm not saying. All I'm saying is, because had been a regular time, not a pandemic, not George Floyd, never happened, I would I'd probably be saying fuck Maria Taylor too, because like I've worked 25 years. But what I'm saying is, in the wake of George Floyd, this is a black woman we're talking about, a double minority. Like, you know what I'm saying? And you've been a white woman that's been operating in your privilege and getting opportunities because because she even admitted on the first time she was on All the Smoke, I'm not even that talented. That's what she said this herself. Go watch her first interview on All the Smoke before the all this controversy. She said, "I'm not all that talented." She's like, the producers yell at me all the time for saying, "Oh, when we make a mistake on air," for me actually saying, "Oh, we made a mistake," all that type of shit. She said it out her mouth, so I'm not even saying that. That she this is something that she said verbatim. So, you know what I mean? Like okay, so get this woman a chance. That's all I'm saying.
So,
but no, I got you, man. Go ahead. My bad.
No, I mean, no, absolutely, bro. But she's been doing it for 25 years. So wouldn't that be equivalent? What was Maria doing? 8 years.
8 years, yeah.
So if she would have at year 10 got to where it took Rachel 25 years, like that's still saying something as a Black woman. You get what I'm saying? Uh-huh. So that's where I'm coming from. Like, no matter what, Maria was gonna win. You know what I mean, bro? As far as, hey, it took her 25, it took me 10. You know what I mean? Like that's a serious accomplishment too, bro. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like, and see, she was 8 years in, bro.
And another thing too, because I don't want to get too lost in the conversation. Like if we lived in a perfect world and everybody was equal, this wouldn't even be a conversation. But what I'm saying is, we live in a world where Black women are, where Black people are oppressed, where we see police brutality, we see marginalized communities and everything like this. And this is a one-time opportunity for a fucked up corporation to try to make right. You know what I'm saying? So, and they were trying to do the right thing by giving Maria Taylor a shot, regardless of what the controversy was behind the scene. And it had to be on. It had to kind of step on Rachel Nichols' toes. I'm
okay with that though. Like I think that's like even them giving it to Maria. Like absolutely. Like fuck everything else, bro. Yeah. I'm talking about Rachel was okay. It's okay for her to feel that way.
No, okay, yeah. No, 100%. She 100%.
There was nothing wrong with her.
I'm not admonishing nothing. You know what I mean? I'm not admonishing nothing that Rachel said, and even in private, even by saying, like, fuck that, she's talented, give her like she can get an opportunity somewhere else. I'm not admonishing her for feeling that way because I would feel the same way. I would feel slighted as well. All I'm saying,
that's what I'm talking about. Everybody was destroying Rachel for feeling a certain way. She can't feel a certain way. Like I gotta always.
It was the way the story came out.
It was the way the story came out.
To Blaze's point, exactly. He said ESPN 100% spun that. So. That's all. I like I said, I'd have tried to come up with a better solution. Like, shut up, Trey. I'd have tried to give.
Laugh at that kid. Wrap it up, B.
All right, no, the spin. You were talking about the spin.
The spin, yeah.
It was
that's
Bill O'Reilly quote.
That's pretty much all my thoughts were on that. Like maybe she should have given her opportunity, or maybe should have had the.
Exactly. Like the spin stops here. No, you're lying right now. Shut the fuck up. I can't stand Bill O'Reilly.
All right. I guess, Brandon, we're going to get to investment news last. We're going to kind of talk about that last. But, Kendall, you had a story that you want to bring up?
Yeah, we want to do the BLM lawsuit?
Yeah, we can start.
I know you like to introduce it. Or
yeah, you got it, bro, because I don't have an article in front of me, so you got it.
All right, cool. So yeah, we just kind of want to follow up on the Black Lives Matter movement organization because we had talked about it before with them purchasing a home that was like 6 million or something around there. But they're under some more heat. This was like earlier last month that I found it and wanted to kind of bring it up. It was an article done by The Hill. Black Lives Matter exec accused of stealing 10 million in lawsuit. So let me start with that here. So the organization Black Lives Matter, as everyone knows it, had sued an executive on the Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation on charges of siphoning 10 million in donations to the organization for use as, quote, the personal piggy bank. Walter Mosley, who's an attorney for representing the BLM grassroots. So we talked about that before. They're the local chapters within different cities. They're going against the Global Network Foundation. So they're filing the suit in Los Angeles County Superior Court against the GNF, as they call it, the Global Network Foundation. Board member who's Shalomaya Bowers, as well as his consulting firm. So the initial complaint was seeking financial relief and court order halting GNF's use of the BLM identity. It accuses Bowers of becoming a turned, quote, usurper and changing fees for BLM donors, which he then used for his own personal funds. So in quote, they were saying when more than 300 movement leaders, as well as BLM founders, insisted that he resign, he continued to betray the public trust by self-dealing and breaching his fiduciary duties. So there's a lot of controversy behind that. Melina Abdullah, who is a founder of the BLM Los Angeles chapter, which is a local chapter, and she's co-director of the BLM Grassroots. She held a press conference at that time. This was a week before this article had came out, announcing the lawsuit, and she was quoted as saying, Global Network Foundation has been taken away from the people who built it. She also stated Global GNF is now led by a highly paid consultant who paid himself upwards of $2 million every year. Melina Abdullah and Patrice Colliers, who's a BLM founder, they created a transition plan to transfer, according to Abdullah, they created a transition plan to transfer control of GNF over to the grassroots organizations, which I thought would be a good idea. But GNF has locked her out of the social media accounts, and they're amplifying messages that she does not agree with. That was what Abdullah was saying, who is the BLM chapter president of Los Angeles. The GNF board of directors denied the allegations, saying that they're disappointed in what she's basically saying, and they feel like she's spreading misinformation. Other BLM leaders who they accused of taking $10,000 per month in personal stipends. The GNF board was quoted as saying, "We as Black people and Black-led organizations cannot continue spending all of our precious time and energy fighting and tearing each other down." Blanket statement. "We have no desire and little time to put private business out in the street." However, Melina Abdullah and the local chapters and its leadership seem intent on fighting publicly about their desire to control the entirety of Black Lives Matter, which I don't think that they're trying to necessarily do. They're just trying to put some more, access by the local chapters to be more intricate with the GNF, so that they understand where this money is going and how it's being, siphoned, if you will. The board denied the entirety of the allegations, claiming that they requested meetings with Abdullah and other leaders. However, they shared that the social media accounts and the BLM grassroots had argued that they never did discuss a plan to transition the GNF to the BLM grassroots. So they're saying that they never discussed that plan with her at all. And if I remember correctly, BLM started in 2013, but things started to seem to change around the death of George Floyd, what we were talking about earlier, where the BLM movement gained renewal national and international attention. And then in late 2020, a group of 10 original BLM chapters announced that they were severing ties with GNF over the lack of transparency and the support. So that's when, as Dave Chappelle once said, they should have never gave you niggas money.
All right. Hey, Kendall, just real quick, because we got some new listeners in here. Just kind of reset the room, let them know what you're discussing right now, and then you can continue.
Oh, sure. So right now we're talking about the BLM Global Fund chapter being sued by the BLM grassroots organizations. So that was the local chapters within the states because of money, 10 million being siphoned in donations to the organization for their own personal use. That's the accusation. The Global Network Foundation, who is the national chapter, if you will, of the Black Lives Matter, is saying that didn't take place, and that they're basically calling out Melina Abdullah, who is the one that pretty much is leading that charge and saying that this is what they've been doing. She felt as if they were going to transition this global network to the local grassroots so that they could have more transparency. But the Global Network Foundation is saying that they never agreed to that. And that's pretty much where it's at. So I was pretty much done, I ain't gonna lie, with the article, but just wanted to bring that light. Like I said, we talked about it before with the national chapter buying that $6 million home, and want to just be transparent to show, we're not biased or any of that kind of stuff. Me personally, whatever it can do to progress Black lives or Black people, I'm always down for it. But when you see a national chapter doing some things that they necessarily shouldn't be doing, or accusations of what they shouldn't be doing, it needs to be called out. And I appreciate the local chapters for doing what they're doing and still trying to be active in these communities, regardless of what the Global Foundation they feel is doing. So just want to bring light to that and talk about it.
Yeah.
Tired of the negative press coming from these motherfuckers, man.
Hey, but it's good that it's coming out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yes, it's still gonna, it's easier to go ahead and it's fun to bash us anyway. But I'm glad that those things come out so that the people know and that they understand what's going on in those organizations, especially if they're donating money to it.
Right.
You want to know what's going on, kind of like, Dr. Umar, people have donated to your school. And,
Hey, Dr. Umar's school is up.
It's up.
But ain't no kids in it yet, but the school.
You see what I'm saying? There's HVAC issues and things of that nature. From last I looked into it, and it's just people want to know where that money is going. That's just how things are, especially in our communities. Because
hey, what's the name of the school?
Marcus Garvey. Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey School.
I fucking love it.
FDMG is coming,
FDMG.
And that's still my guy. I don't necessarily agree with everything my man's saying, but he provides a certain level for us. So again, I'm not here to bash people, but if you're doing some shady shit, it needs to come out and things. And if people have questions about it, you should be able to answer those questions. And we don't hold ourselves to standards of other people.
Dissolve all that shit, man. Start over.
Yeah, you know the thing about it, and I'm not going to hold Dr. Umar's feet too much to the fire because, he talks about. Let me turn my microphone up a little bit. I think it was a little bit down, but anyway, I just watched what's his name, man, Jalen Rose. He was on Earn Your Leisure podcast, and they were doing an interview with him, and he was talking about how expensive it is to run a school, and he was talking about how he hits up every. Jalen Rose got a far reach. He in with all the NBA players, all the rappers and hip hop heads, all that stuff. And he talks about how everybody in Detroit is pretty much locked in. He said you can call Big Sean, T Grizzly, get them all locked in. They'll donate to the school in a heartbeat. But he was talking about how many people say they will donate, and then he says he calls them and they don't answer that phone. But even Jalen Rose School is having issues, with keeping like he had one wing who didn't even have that didn't even have HVAC. He didn't have AC when he was doing the interview with EYL. You know what I mean? And I thought that says a lot. You know what I mean? If one wing of your school, then only the new side has HVAC. You know what I mean? And you're doing the interview in the school, so that, and we know Jalen Rose is caked up. You know what I'm saying? So,
right.
What was that? All right. Anyway, just pretend like that didn't happen. I hope that didn't come across. Oh, did y'all hear that?
Yeah, I heard something.
That sounded like a gremlin was in the microphone.
Yeah, it did.
But anyway, like I said, back to what I was saying, we know Jalen Rose is caked up, and for him to have been having issues running the school, it doesn't surprise me that somebody who's trying to do right by the community and taking in donations like Dr. Umar is having issues, and it's been as long as it's been that he's been having these issues.
Mm-hmm. He bought a car.
He bought
a car with that.
He did something.
I
don't know if he has a car because he always seems to be live streaming from a car, never in the driver's seat. So I don't necessarily know. But again, I'm not here to bash my brother. I'm just saying, there's nothing wrong with transparency in certain elements with that stuff, especially if it's not where it needs to be. Because if you're telling dates or saying this is when the school coming out and people got questions, same thing with GNF. Yeah. If you're doing something that shouldn't be done, or if they feel as if you're siphoning money and they need this stuff to get the local chapters back cracking so that they can continue to do community stuff, especially after COVID, you would think that the volunteering might go down or something like that. So if they're feeling like money is being siphoned, that should be addressed to an extent. And I'm glad that they're going the law with
you carry on the perception that if you donate to black people, they fuck the money off. That's the part.
No doubt.
Well, Brett Favre is changing that perception.
Man, fuck Brett Favre, man.
So I don't know, man.
And I'm the biggest Packer fan in the room.
So what's the so what's the solution for this? Like, you know what I mean? Because we can present a problem, but what's the solution? I guess we just want all these nonprofits just to have their books open.
No, not necessarily. But what we're saying is if they're requesting money and they're not getting any, then what's going on? That's all they're saying. That's what's going on. I'm not here to bash Black Lives Matter. I still think it's a benefit to an extent, especially from a local standpoint.
Oh, I was more so talking about the schools and Dr. Umar too. Yeah.
Well, no, you ain't got to open all the books up. Yeah. But again, like I said, if you're saying the school's about to come out at this time, and then you're still, we need this or we need the HVAC. Like I said, I've heard different. I've heard podcasts from Lord Jamar, things of that nature. His community is on open schools. He has people in his families that open schools. They've offered their assistance to him. There are other people that have said they've offered their assistance to Dr. Umar. He said, I don't want to go that route. I don't want to do this, and I want to do it this way. That's all cool. I get it. You want to do it how you want to do it. But if people are offering help especially because you always seem to be wanting assistance. He does that quite a bit. You know, that's where that gap is. Like what is going on in between that? And if you feel like what you're doing is thank you, gifts, donations, and all that funny shit, like, okay, that's cool. It's a joke for us to laugh at and all that other stuff. Again, I still think Umar is a benefit, especially when he talks about Black children, Black trauma, things that people are going through. But again, it's just certain things that do need to be addressed in certain cases. That's all. I ain't got nothing against them. You can keep certain things up under wraps and under your business. But when the school's supposed to be coming out at this certain time, and then we keep pushing the dates out, just let people know what's going on, especially if they're donating that money and they're eager to join that school.
In both cases, the public perception is bad.
Right.
It sounds suspect.
You know, where are the teachers? Where's the staff? Like, is that even set up yet? You know, those types of people.
It sounds suspect.
People are interested in those things. That's all. And he's not going to get any government funding.
Donate?
No, it sounds suspect. Listen, so like we all in business, and when we know business, right? Number one, him not wanting help from people who are in that field that really can help him out, and he's an intelligent brother. So number one, first red flag, and he's a very intelligent brother. So you have lawyers, you have people look at this, you probably have an investor like, hey, how much do I need to get this going? Or, you know what I mean? You have professional people that tell you these things when you're starting a school. He don't want nobody having it because he want to be the only person looking at them donations. That's what it sounds like.
I mean, that could. Go ahead. My bad.
I've never started a school, but I know the basis of what I would need to try to start a school. And he ain't got none of that. You get what I'm saying? Like, and then he don't even want help from people who've already started schools that are brothers that he could probably trust. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Come on, man.
I mean, with the type of personality that Dr. Umar got, it seemed like he just don't want to have to answer to nobody or no board on the progress. So that's why he kind of wants to have to control himself. You know what I mean? Because when you
we're not giving your crazy ass no money, family. Right. You're really not coming at us with a real number. You're not coming at us with a real number. Hey, this is really what I need to make this. Mm-hmm. And like Kendall said, how many days?
You're just saying because you really donations. Don't know. Right. You're just saying donate to FDMG school. And again, this is like, to me, that's the same thing Donald Trump was doing. Like, okay, hey y'all, it's fucked up. January 3rd, and even after our election was stolen, but still donate because we're gonna fight this lawsuit.
Them Trump emails be the best.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. So funny. Do you really think he's putting that money towards a lawsuit?
Hell no.
And he's going to sue the government? No, it's for him. It's for his pocket. And I'm not saying Dr. Umar is doing that. I'm just saying that's when it starts to look sketchy. You over here telling us to donate some money for your lawsuit fund, and you're not going to spend no money on that. You're going to spend that money on your debt.
We see that all the time, like with everything, like GoFundMe's and everything. Like people get the money and do what they want to do with it.
Listen. I'll donate to the Kendall Atlanta Fund Foundation before I give Dr. Umar.
And I'm giving money to Dr. Umar for certain cases, certain things, not necessarily the school, but just other fundraisers and things that he's.
Yeah, I'm just.
I do think that some of those people should be paid for what they're doing, for the services that they provide and things like that. But be transparent about those things. You know what I'm saying? That's okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey man, I feel like I need to get paid a little bit the stuff I'm putting y'all on because some of y'all don't know what the hell's going on. So I ain't not.
You should absolutely have itself on a salary, but when you ain't got HVACs and stuff like that, somebody did some horrible miscalculation. Where's your accountant?
And there have been people literally that have gotten on pies and said, I called him and told him I'd do it for free.
You see what I'm saying?
I mean, there's people that want this school to come out because they believe in his message in a lot of ways. Right. So that's what I'm saying. And he's been a principal. He's had experience with being a principal from what I've been told, what I've heard from him. Just, I've been to some of his speeches and things of that nature.
I mean, the fact that it's a school, period, though, show you that.
I support it. I support it. I ain't saying he just fully on some bullshit. What I'm saying is I'm not saying he bought the school to say, man, I want all these millions of dollars. Maybe something didn't go the way that he planned. And now, he's kind of doubling back a little bit and needs some more time, which is fine. But just say that. Just be like, hey, man, I ain't gonna lie. I need till about 2025. And everybody gonna understand them. They're gonna understand that because people support Dr. Umar for the most part. Not everyone, but there are people that will support him because he is a threat in many ways. And he always, for the most part, ride for his people. I mean, you gotta love certain things about that for real.
Yes, sir. And you have one other thing, Kenny, you want to bring up too.
Oh,
Was it Aretha Franklin?
yeah, for sure. So, we were also talking about women and kind of the tapping
The
of the
tap.
communication. So I just thought this would be a good article to talk
Oh
about.
yeah, yeah, that's right.
So there's an article that came out in Rolling Stone about Aretha Franklin. The title is, sorry, give me one second. Aretha Franklin was tracked by the FBI for 40 years. And here's what's in her file. So just kind of want to talk about that. So from 1967 to 2007, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, or the FBI, methodically collected information about Aretha Franklin from 1967, y'all, to 2007. Okay. All right. Using false phone calls, surveillance, infiltration, and highly placed sources, according to the documents obtained earlier by the Rolling Stone. So these are like declassified documents as a result of the Freedom of Information Act, which happened on August 17, 2018. So it's 270 pages long. And it's throughout those documents, it's peppered with different phrases like Black extremists, pro communists, hate America, radical, racial violence, and militant Black power, and overwhelming with suspicion about the singer, her work, and other activists and entertainers with whom she spent time with. Some of the documents are heavily redacted, and others indicate that there may be some additional materials in the FBI's possession that they did not release. And the Rolling Stone has requested the FBI to make available of all of those additional records, which we know they will not. So Aretha Franklin was born. Reason why they're kind of, they were kind of stalking her and doing all this other crazy
That was
shit.
my next question. Yeah.
Yeah. She was born in Detroit, and her dad, she sang in the choir. And her dad, Clarence Franklin, he was a minister, and he was also a civil rights activist. So she followed in a lot of his footsteps, even when she went into her musical career, and did a lot of civil rights activity. So that's the reason why she was one of those people that they were, fucking tracking and stalking. So Aretha Franklin's work on behalf of civil rights and her association with Martin Luther King, Angela Davis, and other civil rights justice or social justice revolutionaries became that preoccupation of the FBI. So there were other singers, of course, that they tracked. Shout out to Sam Cooke. Phone numbers, activities regularly tracked by agents, according to the documents obtained by Rolling Stone. Along with all of the surveillance, the FBI documents contain letters and reports of death threats against Franklin. So in 1974, for example, she received a letter that said, "Dear Aretha, I'm still in charge of you. I'm not to be crossed. You should be paying me some more of my money. Evidently, your advisors do not know the dangers of neglecting what I'm saying. I would hate to drag your father into this." Quote, end quote.
What
And
year
then
was
in
this?
1974.
Okay.
In 1979, 4 months after her father was shot, there we go, she received yet another threat from a man who said that he was going to kill her and her family. So in a separate incident, the file showed that there was an extortion attempt against Franklin, and there was information about the suspects in these incidents that had been redacted. And of course, the FBI declined several requests to comment on that article for this article when Rolling Stone reached out to them. So you see that clearly she was some sort of threat to these people, especially like I said, within her family, whatever extent of work that she was doing outside of that. But it's also a lot of paranoia and white people being racist. That's just, the reality of the situation. Because if you think about Martin Luther King, they used to do the same thing to him. They would write letters, they would call him, they tell him, "We're watching you, we're going to kill you. You need to kill yourself because we're going to tell your wife about what you've been doing." Or, just to try to put a whole bunch of different demons inside of this man's head to get him to just kill himself to make it easier for them before they ultimately assassinated him. All right, sorry. These are all my thoughts. Nothing of these reflect the other co-host. This is just me.
Yeah.
So
No, yeah,
that's all I would say.
No, I agree too.
Right, but I'm
Guys,
just saying,
you know,
I ain't, I just don't like to.
It's documented too. It's kind of crazy because
Mhm.
Kanye West says the same and I know how certain one of y'all feel about Kanye, but Kanye West says a lot of this, and we got to remember that his father was a civil rights photographer and part of the Black Panthers as well. And his father, he always refers to his father as like the new Steve, we call him new Steve Jobs or the original Steve Jobs, because he talks about all the the green initiatives that his father's doing in Wyoming, and he basically got a limited funding from Kanye West to his father to fund whatever his father's trying to do, as far as like grow food organically and all that type of stuff, and they doing a lot of different weird projects that's supposed to be sustainable in Wyoming, but his father is kind of like the head of all that. And it's kind of crazy to see how they do our celebrities. And it wouldn't be lost on me if they've done some of the same things to Kanye West. And that's kind of why he seems so sporadic as he seems when we see him on interviews and when he yells that they ain't gonna kill me and all that type of stuff.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
So among the documents obtained, some of which were newly declassified, is the 1968 document discussing funeral plans for Martin Luther King, calling it a racial situation, quote unquote.
Mm-hmm.
It further notes that Sammy Davis Jr., Aretha Franklin, of this group, some have supported militant Black power concepts. So there was a performance at the MLK Memorial by these prominent entertainers, and they would provide emotional spark, which could ignite, quote unquote, which could ignite racial disturbance in this area. So this is, like I said, the paranoia that the FBI and white people had of entertainment, because they understand music is a conduit for certain things. So like, you know, they're fearful of some sort of Black messiah, things of that nature, just like Martin Luther King. You know, they used to call him that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's the fear of those things, just because they want to hold dear to being racist. All right, so the FBI.
I think at that time they was any Black person with some level of notoriety, they was on that. But 40 years just sound crazy.
Right, based on what they were doing though. Like if they were actually a part of these circles, some of them wasn't even doing much.
Right.
But someone like Aretha, clearly she was doing a little bit, but nothing to the where they need to do all of this. You know what I'm saying? So the FBI also tried and failed to connect Franklin to the Black Liberation Army and other so-called, quote, radical movements. In one case, the FBI detailed her 1971 contract with Atlantic Records, quote, just in case agents could link Franklin's business dealings to the Black Panther Party. So you see, they were trying to figure out ways to basically frame her into being a part of these organizations. Which, you know, Black Panther Party is not even that violent, which, you know, we can talk about all day. But anyway, from the very early days of the civil rights movement and through today, the government has been known to keep tabs on prominent Black leaders. We know this, entertainers and activists, and scores of other celebrities involved in anti-war or social justice movements, or whom J. Edgar Hoover, who was FBI director at that time, thought it might be beneficial to collect dirt about. Also, if you would like to learn about his anti-gay cross-dressing ass, check out J. Edgar Hoover check out J. Edgar with Leonardo DiCaprio. It's a great movie. So, and if ladies, you love Leo, there you go. Check it out. Anyway, Marvin Gaye has a brief 6-page file, which details an incident that followed him not being paid for a concert. Jimi Hendrix has a file including documents related to a marijuana bust in Canada. Miriam Makeba, an anti-apartheid activist who was married to Stokely Carmichael. She has a 292-page file, which details the couple's every move, including buying new home appliances. Hilarious. Rolling.
I think it's petty as hell.
Absolutely. That's what they do best.
I wonder what they got on what Jay-Z and Beyonce file look like.
I'm sure there's a file. I'm sure there's a file.
Yeah.
As Rolling Stone reported, the Monkees, which is Mickey Dolenz, he's suing the FBI after it failed to hand over their full file. The agency has on them. Robin Gibb, Whitney Houston, Notorious B.I.G. also have files from the FBI. And again, these are once again people that are really doing anything. I mean, I'd never known Biggie to do anything activist wise, but again, they're probably worried about the whole Biggie and Tupac thing after Pac was died, because absolutely they have stuff on Tupac because of Afeni Shakur, Mutulu Shakur, Miramu Jamal.
Well, the thing about it, they probably made sure that he didn't, because, you know, Biggie, he was galvanizing the whole coast of people, like all of New York was behind him. You know what I'm saying? So imagine if he would have got quote unquote conscious.
Right, but no doubt. But I'm just saying, you know, there's a reason why Tupac was killed. You know what I'm saying? Like he was doing too much. You know what I'm saying? Like he's going to Cuba and these other areas. I'm not comparing to say who's better than who, but I'm just saying he was probably a part of that. And they like, you know what? Let's just put a file on him just in case.
Right.
Let's just make sure that he's not going to go too far off the deep end as well.
Basically what I'm saying is just the threat of, you know what I'm saying? Like
for sure.
Like white supremacists is terrified of black people galvanizing and coming
uprising.
Together. Uprising. They terrified of it. So
I see what you're saying.
Anybody that got the power to galvanize people, to get them to come together and people actually follow behind them, it seemed like they terrified of that. So I'm pretty sure they got a file on a lot of these celebrities, because you know it's hard think about it. Like, we talk about how hard it is just to bring black people together. We can't bring 5 friends together to start a business. You know what I'm saying? Imagine how hard it is to bring hundreds of thousands and even millions of people together. But some people have that power through arts and entertainment.
Absolutely. And if, like, to your point, if Biggie would have started, wearing, African garb or some shit, then you probably would have seen others under him, who looked up to him, start jumping in on the fray with that stuff too. Plus, New York is pretty heavy in those areas anyway, with the 5%ers and the different, ways that they think of things. So it'll definitely be interesting to see his file. So anyway, so I'm almost done here. But despite 4 decades of surveillance and hundreds of pages of notes, the Bureau ultimately never found anything on her, and they couldn't link any, quote, extreme or radical activities as a result. So her daughter, Aretha Franklin, was quoted as saying, "I'm not really sure if my mother was aware that she had ever been targeted by the FBI and followed. I do know that she had absolutely nothing to hide, though." She goes on to say, "It does make me feel a certain way knowing the FBI had targeted and wanted to know her every move. But at the same time, knowing my mother and the way that she ran her business, I knew she had nothing to hide, so they wouldn't have found anything and were wasting their time." And as you can see, they never found anything at all. So just wanted to bring light to that.
Crazy.
To hold Jerome's point about Black women and what they've experienced and being double minorities. I mean, this is a prime example. Not only were you being followed during the 1960s civil rights movement, you were followed all the way through 2007, and she passed away in the 2010 sometime.
Yeah.
So they've been basically following her majority of her career, and again, they had no reason to. So again, magnify that with people that actually had something to do with something, and how intricate and nosy and racist that they had to be to really be that concerned with people's lives. And if anybody would like to learn more, there's a great book called The FBI War on Tupac and Black Leaders. Now, ignore the Tupac. It's just trying to bring light of it because, again, he was a part of the Panthers Association because of so many people in his family that were a part of it. But there's Huey Newton, Afeni Matulu, Malcolm Martin, Bobby Seale, Assata Shakur, who's still in Cuba right now. Shout out to her. Sekou Aduga, Mamiou Abdul-Jabbar, Jimi Hendrix, Fred Hampton, Robert Kennedy, Jam Master Jay.
Crazy.
Woo, this country. But yes, definitely check this book. Stokely Carmichael's in here, Kwame Ture, however you want to call him, P. Diddy, he's a part of this in here. So there's a lot of information in this book. There's declassified documents. There's a digital version if you want it. But you should definitely check it out. It's very interesting.
Show the book one more time, please. Hold up.
Yes, sir.
Say something and hold it there.
The FBI War on Tupac Shakur and Other Black Leaders. Great book. I've had this book since, I don't even know, probably early 2000s. Well, probably early, or late 2000s. Yeah, probably later 2000s, I'll say. But it's a great book. Definitely good frame of reference as well. So check it out and get it on Amazon, any other outlets. And of course, there are other books out here. Especially, it might even be more now because there's been more declassified documents that have come out since then. So, but yeah.
Super interesting stuff, man. But yeah, like I said, that just goes out to my point of just about the America having a diversity issue and
oh boy,
but we
really
we got it there. This is
you don't say
this is a little
really?
And it's
go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's definitely not isolated to just Black people or anything like that. I'm not saying that. The Dixie Chicks were railroaded after they were shitting on George Bush. Eminem had some issues when he was saying snipe Dick Cheney, kill George Bush, all this type of shit. Just said a little bit lyrically, to where you could consume it. But there's plenty of other artists and things like that. Like I just told you, the Monkees. They're a white band. They had a full file on them. So it wasn't just isolated to just Black people, but they were, of course, the majority in those cases, of course, when it comes to surveillance.
In most cases.
All right. Some unrelated, more so in the silly realm, because we've been super serious. I didn't expect this podcast to get super serious that fast. Like I didn't had no chance to joke with y'all or nothing, man. But
everything ain't a joke, my brother.
Right.
Donations.
Niggas put on they black leathers quick as hell, and they what's some thing called?
Donations.
I'm gonna get my kufi.
Yeah, Kofi, black leather, quick as hell. But just about accountability, man. Because I was having a conversation earlier about how women call themselves holding us accountable, like they're some kind of authority figure, but they don't even know how you properly hold somebody accountable. It's always a bunch of
misogyny. Okay,
yeah, but it ain't misogyny. I mean, we can say it. But, I mean, because you can you can say that. But here's my thing. No, when it comes to
holding, nobody want to hear that truth. Did they wrong?
No, right, all right. But now here's my thing when it comes to holding people accountable, man. Like the proper way to do it, right? You got to have clear expectations. Like the first step to holding somebody accountable is setting your expectation, making sure that they clear, making sure that they understood by the other person, right? Making sure that you give that person the knowledge that they need to be successful, and it's a two-way conversation, right? You can't just sit up there and say, well, or expect somebody to know was what are called quote unquote basic relationship norms. You know what I'm saying? You got to set the clear expectation, and that you have to set a clear way for them to be capable of meeting those expectations. You can't give somebody who doesn't have the tools to meet your expectations, or expect them to be capable of meeting your expectations when they don't have the tools. You know what I'm saying? I think that's something that's quite lost in relationships. How do y'all feel about that?
I think it's a difference between holding me accountable and wanting me to do what you want.
Facts. It's a huge difference.
That's where the confusion comes
in. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of people miss that, and that's what I'm brought about having a genuine two-way conversation. And before it's over, ask the other person to summarize the important pieces so they can so you can reach an outcome that you're going for. You know what I'm saying? And it's never a two-way conversation. It's always about what I want you to do.
Well, you have to hold yourself accountable first before you can hold anybody else accountable. So.
Oh, don't say that, Trey.
Well, I didn't say who I'm talking about. Though. I can mean men too. I can mean men too.
Okay.
So
Yeah. But my thing is, you got to know yourself in order to even set expectations, because you got to know what you expect from a person and what you willing to deal with and what you not willing to deal with, right? But like I said, also it has to be a two-way conversation, because the person that you're talking to, they might not have the tools to meet your expectation. So maybe you might have to move on from that.
So all I'm going to say is, I'm just going to read here. Active listening is the practice of preparing to listen, observing with verbal and nonverbal messages are being sent, and then providing appropriate feedback for the sake of showing attentiveness to the message being presented. This form of listening conveys a mutual understanding between speaker and listener. And I'll leave it at that.
That's not existing in most cases.
But
I know we know y'all
verbal and nonverbal, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm still on
emphasis on the nonverbal,
on the proper way to hold somebody accountable. So like, you got to have another way is you got to have the clear measurements. You got to let the person know. Nothing surprise somebody who's trying to who's in a leadership position, like surprise failure, right? So you have to have clear measurements, right? Like you have to be able to, like I said, brainstorm, have a two-way conversation about clearing, like setting the expectations. Like, you know what I mean? You have to have clear measurements. If you're not having clear measurements on what is it going to take for you to meet the expectations, that person is going to fail you every single time. You know what I mean?
So
no, that's a fact.
So what you're saying, Jerome,
can't blame somebody if they don't know.
Right.
What you're saying is that we can't read women's minds. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying
you're saying that we don't have these special abilities to really know what's going on in their heads.
I'm saying no one can read anyone's mind, my Trey.
Okay. No, I'm asking questions.
I'm saying a huge. Basically, if y'all not from what I'm explaining to y'all here, communication is a huge part of holding somebody accountable. So if you're not properly communicating, and when it comes to setting expectations, you can't. It's almost impossible to hold somebody accountable.
Women don't communicate.
I'm not saying why you keep talking about women. I'm talking about people in general. It's hard for people to communicate.
Okay.
Like,
we were talking about women.
Are you trying to turn me into a misogynist, bro? You gonna get me canceled on this podcast?
No. I'm just making sure. I'm just trying to make sure what we're talking about, so the listeners know.
He's saying be clear.
Misogyny. But
I just want the listeners to know.
So I'll also go with the 6 key active listening skills. 1,
talk to me, Kendall.
pay attention. 2, withhold judgment. 3, reflect. 4,
not deflect.
Nope. See that? See, read. Number 3, reflect. 4, clarify. 5, summarize. And 6, share. You see
I
that?
get that shit tatted.
That's hey.
Mm-hmm. And those are typical things.
It's a part of being a leader.
Yeah, typical exercises that people try. Like even when you go through relationship counseling, those are typical exercises that you do in relationship counseling. It's never about the. So if somebody tells you that they feel a certain way, let me explain it that way. If somebody tells you that they feel a certain way, their feelings aren't invalid. You know what I mean? Now you can explain to them why their feelings are unreasonable, or how how you came to your conclusion when dealing with their feelings. So, but you have to do it in a way where you're not unvalidating their feelings, because their feelings are always.
Man, I ain't gonna front. Sometimes that shit ain't valid.
No, sometimes. I get
Absolutely.
it, but I get it, Blaze. But I'm just talking about when it comes to effective communication. Like because somebody go like if you just tell the motherfucker, oh, you tripping, just okay. I get it. You was mad. You know what I'm saying? You valid for being mad. But let me explain to you why. How I arrived here, or you know what I mean? Like from a genuine space.
And but I think that's kind of why I think number 3, clarify, number 3, reflect, and 4, clarify, is because it, like, sometimes I think what we do is we'll listen to somebody and then we'll interpret what we think they're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And then we like, oh, well, this is what you mean. Like, no.
Hey, Kendall, you teaching, dog.
Yeah, I'm going to start over and I'm going to tell you what I just said.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right.
Because I'm about to reflect and I'm going to clarify.
Mm-hmm. And
then we can summarize and share.
Right.
Sex. Sorry.
All right, sex is hilarious, but no, and that's what I'm saying. That's why that's what comes into the point of not invalidating somebody's feeling. Like they can feel however they want to feel, but like Kendall said, you have to clarify it. Like you know what I mean, and get them to active listen when you're doing that. And
I can care and not care.
Yeah, and that will make you a sociopath.
But that's why we do number 2, Blaze, and we withhold judgment. Because you're judging by not giving a fuck.
I'm out of water over here.
I gotta do better.
Yeah, man. Hey, listen though. Listen,
Blaze.
Let me tell y'all something real quick though. One of my ex-girlfriends became a therapist, and I was like, I don't know if that's my fault or if that was a good thing, because I used to always tell her to do it. Like I'm like, you should do that. Like, was I the problem? Probably.
That is systemic.
I wasn't reflecting.
She couldn't understand you. It drove her insane.
That's probably how
she said, I'm finna go to school. They finna teach me how to understand.
Yeah. But my whole point of bringing this up too is like, you know what I'm saying, like being a cisgendered masculine black male, like you are a leader. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you got somebody that's cisgendered and they a submissive person under you, like you know what I'm saying, you're a leader, man. So like you have to take these leadership skills, and it's hard managing relationships, you know what I'm saying. And a lot of us weren't taught that we are leaders in our household, you know what I'm saying, but that's exactly what you are. So that's the reason I want to bring that up about like accountability and like Kendall's point, active listening. It's all about leadership skills, and this shit actually works from a practical perspective, you know what I'm saying, if you got that kind of relationship.
Yep, and that's very important. Like, you know, you got somebody who you can actually talk to and share that, like, aside from the 6 steps. But no, it's just very important that you have that type of relationship with somebody. And that's why it's so important when people say you got to be friends first with somebody you're going to date, because, they got to be able to, understand from your point of view. And then you jump right into a relationship. Sometimes I think people will be trying to just tell you, oh, well, this is how it's supposed to be. this is how this is what you're supposed to be doing.
I hate
This is what,
shit.
like, wait, like,
Right.
how do you know? And where was your successful relationship? But sometimes we have to listen.
Don't tell me what I'm supposed
especially if you don't have
to
great
do.
experience with relationships yourself.
Mm-hmm. It was one thing I wanted to,
especially being married and then you're done in 6 months.
Man, I'm watching the Celtics game, and it's weird not seeing Udoka on the bench.
See,
Udoka was out of control.
See, Udoka, I'm gonna tell you what Nia Long problem is. Nia Long didn't.
Oh man, you about to get us canceled for?
No, I'm gonna tell you what Nia Long's problem is. I'm fucking around. I'm fucking around. No, I was gonna say she didn't set clear expectations.
All right.
That's all I was gonna say. But listen, she apparently it was some expectations set. You allowed this man to be engaged to you for 10 years. Now I'm not gonna blame, but all bullshit aside, I'm just joking. I'm not gonna blame.
You do the right promise ring.
Right, yeah. I'm not gonna jump into their bullshit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because Udoka,
we can just make fun.
Yeah, we just make fun of it. Like I said, he was wrong. But what I think is weird though is, which I didn't know what was happening until I got on Twitter last week, is that the internet is actually blaming Nia Long. That is insane.
No, I ain't seen that.
Well, I'm not.
How that goes.
No,
just a lot of everybody.
No,
sometimes it's trolling.
It's
a little
bit.
It
probably is trolling.
Yeah, I don't even see how that
it'd be a lot of speculation too, though. We found out that people are insane, so they have nothing to do but sit online on Instagram, and Facebook, and Twitter, and you know what I mean, like all day.
And I'm sure I'm 100% sure more majority of them people was men.
Right. Oh, for sure. Of course, they was
100%.
Captain Sable Udoka.
What's crazy is like they really be making up their own stories. Like everybody's making up their own. They've been engaged for 10 years. If it wasn't no social media, she probably would have called him like, "Damn, you got caught. What you want?" She might be into Sister Wives. We don't know. Like, just shut up.
Well,
stop giving your opinion.
Let's hope she's not authorizing that. At least have some
quality.
Well,
no. I'm just saying though. You know what I mean? Like, they might even have an open relationship. You know what I mean? Like, we don't know though.
This is where I missed.
You've been engaged for 10 years.
So you got it. When you did the Sister Wife, you got to have the Sister Wife where it's like, at least the bitch was cute.
Yeah. Hey, but I'm just saying, bro, they might have an open relationship. We don't know, but everybody just speculate.
No, for sure. But it's just the way
they might have an open relationship, and he might have just went out of control. You know,
it was just the way he did. Right,
he was wild.
He was doing too much.
Let me say this. This is where I miss Kevin. This is where I miss Kevin Samuels, because Kevin Samuels would have said this. See, this is what I told you. You can't make this shit up. What do he say? He say, high value man. They don't cheat. They exercise options.
He exercised all the
options. Though Udoka is out of control.
You're too close to the job. You can't be. You gotta be messing with the concession stand women or something. You can't be out here messing with the VP.
Right, he wild.
He was just acting out of control. That's all. You don't fuck that close to your job. You're doing too much.
Yeah, I got a term. I say you don't shit where you eat.
That's right. Yeah. And I'm not saying you can't. You want to mess around with some people in the NBA or part of the organization or whatever. All right, whatever. But like not directly at the job. Like, and from what it sounded like, Matt Barnes even said it. What epoch was he on? Was he on Vlad or no? He was on something else. I don't know. But he said when the real story come out of what he was doing, I'm be surprised if he even keep his job in the NBA. Period. I was like, damn, what the fuck was he doing? Like he must be getting some toes sucked by
you know what I'm pretty sure he was, Kendall.
Y'all so stupid, man. But y'all got anything else to add, man? Y'all got anything else?
Y'all watch Dahmer?
Say, do you know what I mean? He said, "Yeah, I mean."
Yeah, I mean.
Did y'all watch Dahmer?
I'm not watching Dahmer. I don't support that bullshit.
Yeah, I haven't seen that. I'm not gonna probably watch it, but yeah, I mean, I'm glad. I am glad to an extent. I don't like the whole glorification of the serial murderer that America is. They love to have, but I'm glad that some of these stories do come out so that we can, showcase once again racism and privilege, because that's the only reason why he got away with them 17 murders.
If you want to see it, then that's definitely what you're gonna see on there.
Yeah, that's all it is. Police just ignoring it. Police or some saying, "Hey, he's doing our job. We don't care about these gays." That's another angle.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
Especially being that we from Milwaukee and it was a lot of shit that I remember, but it was a lot of shit that
you didn't know about.
Yeah.
Like I said, I just found out about that 40,000 hit that the Vice Lords put on him. I didn't know that. I just thought it was a random brother who was just tired of the shit.
Speak. Catch the audience up, Kendall.
Oh, I'm sorry. So I was watching what's my man on with the Ghetto Boys? He got a podcast now.
Chuck D.
Willie D.
Willie D. He was talking about it. But yeah, it was a $40,000 hit by the gang. That's a famous gang, and I think they originated in Chicago and kind of bled over the Midwest. Their the Vice Lords. They put a $40,000 hit on Jeffrey Dahmer and to get him killed in prison.
For those of you who aren't affiliated, the Vice Lords is a gang that. Where they originated from? Was it the Midwest or
just say yeah? Hey, I just said that.
You did.
High as hell.
Oh, I wasn't listening. My bad.
Active listening, dog.
Active listening. Oh God,
my brother.
I zoned out for a month.
Let it happen.
Clarify.
Going off.
Hey, I apologize.
Listen without judgment.
Well, Kendall did go off on me, so go continue, Kendall. I'm sorry.
No, you good. I'm just talking shit. But yeah, so it was gang originated out the Midwest. Offed him, got him off in there. They smacked him up with a pipe. I love it. And but yeah, I didn't even know that, to Blaze's point. That's all I was basically saying. But I do appreciate to a level of it that they brought it back out to an extent and talked about it, because once again, these are, again, another subset of group that nobody cares about, and that, there's just kind of water under the bridge. So I don't appreciate some of the LGBTQ community saying it paints them in a bad light or something that they were trying to say. Like, I don't think that was the case. I just think he was a serial murderer, and they wanted to glorify another one. Like, as they always, just like they did with Ted Bundy, just like they did with John Wayne Gacy. There's a culture of that. That's just what I was hearing about. So I don't think it was like a majority thing, but it probably, like how it is on the internet, by a subset of that group saying it, and then trying to make it go viral or something. So, but I do appreciate the fact that it, like I said, came out, and that their story can be spoken about. But my problem is when you don't involve the actual victims in these things, and then when they watch this shit, it's all traumatic and crazy. You know what I'm saying? I think there should be a level of that. Like, hey, we're going to be bringing up this story. We're going to be doing a documentary on this or a movie. Just to let the people know, have some sort of sincerity to an extent about these things, because that was a heinous thing that brother was doing. He wasn't just shooting people; he's eating them, and I was consuming them, and all this other weirdo ass shit, trying to make him seem like he's some sort of unique figure.
How fucked up the Milwaukee Police Department.
That's it. That's it. Exactly. And like I said, it was nothing but racism and discrimination. That's all it was. And he was a racist cannibal, no different. And then the punk ass police did not care about those people. Yeah. This house smelling like fucking rat shit, and nobody's doing anything. Like, come on, man. Yeah, people are complaining, calling the police, letting them know what's going on. Nobody's doing anything because we don't care.
Yeah, I literally remember that shit like it was yesterday, and that's why I refused to watch the series. So I'm good on that shit. I grew up.
Shout out to Arthur Jones.
I grew up in that area, so I'm great. I'm good. Well, we all did, but I'm straight.
Right, for sure. I'm sure it was good though. I've heard good things and all that shit, but I'm probably not gonna watch that traumatic shit again because it was nonstop around the clock when we were little. So.
Facts.
Right.
But was it good though? I don't know if you saw it or Blaze.
No, go ahead.
I was just saying, was it good or did you see it?
Oh no, it was good. They acted with. They definitely sexualized them though.
Of course they did.
They glorified the shit out there.
Right.
But it was. Just seeing all the shit that we didn't know about or I didn't remember. It was just kind of crazy, especially being that we grew up in that shit.
Yeah, because I forgot the brother that killed him also killed that other dude, the dude that murdered his wife. He killed both. Got them both together. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. But no, that's I like I said, I'm sure there was some good things that came about of that. But like to your point, that's where I have the problem. Sexualizing a damn cannibal. Like, come on, fam. Come on. What the hell is wrong with you?
Yeah. Hey, whoever Buddy is that played that role though.
Oh yeah, Evan Roberts or something, and he always playing some damn serial killer.
Right.
You took a horror story. He played
I love when they're like, it's very hard for me.
Yeah, he do. American. Right.
It was very hard for me to play this role. Fam, get up out of here. You done played 5 serial killers.
Man.
Just like Leo used to tell him it was hard for him to play do Candy on Django. Shut your ass up. No, it wasn't.
So my niggas.
Yeah,
No, it wasn't.
he said, "These are my niggas."
He said, "I get to say it for real."
All you had to do is you had to dig deep in your ancestral pathway.
Hey, he was like, $2,000, not for my niggas.
No, that was an actual joke. I ain't gonna come at Leo. Leo's pretty. He ain't never really said nothing insensitive that we've seen.
No,
So
absolutely.
I give him a little bit of credit,
like
but nigga, please stop acting like that was hard for you.
Hey, I like Leo, but absolutely. Right.
Man,
This
so
is difficult.
He said, I get to say nigga how many times?
You know, Quentin Tarantino, he gonna nigga it up. Okay? He can't wait. He can't wait to say that.
Do y'all realize though they wasn't saying nigger hard ER. They were saying nigga in that movie, bro.
They do a little bit of both because that's what he likes to say.
Yeah, a little bit of both. Yeah,
You know, Quentin Tarantino. You can't name one Quentin Tarantino movie that ain't got nigga in it.
It just sounds so cool when you guys say it. So yeah, go ahead and just do it.
What you go always get out of a Quentin Tarantino movie is nigga and feet.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, enough of Quentin Tarantino. Last but not least, I just wanted to touch on a little bit of investment news because we have been talking about that quite often on the show. And I know Brandon gonna love this part, but like I said, it's the stock market has crashed terribly because of the Feds raising the interest rate again. They just did another 75 basis point interest rate hike in September. And so it caused the stock market to crash, caused bonds to crash. Everything is down like a motherfucker.
Like a motherfucker.
But like I said, it's still a great entry point if you aren't in the market because this will turn around. Like I said, this is a bear market. It's like bears hibernate. That's why they use that terminology if y'all not familiar. And typically after a bear market is when you see some of the greatest returns. Once we go into a bull market, a bull charges. That's what they call it, a bull market. So I'm kind of just giving y'all on an elementary level so y'all understand what's going on in the stock market right now. Apple is at an amazing price. If you look at all the companies in the S&P 500, Apple, Microsoft, Google, Amazon are probably the greatest companies in the S&P 500. So those companies are right now. They did a stock split earlier this year. They're all at phenomenal prices, all under $200. So if you can afford to put $200 buy one stock a month or whatever, just make sure it's money that you do not immediately need. And I'm gonna say this again loud. Make sure it's money that you do not immediately need in the next 5 to 10 years. Minimal. Like, so whatever you put in the stock market, you need to let it mature. You need to let it sit. You cannot just go dump a bunch of money that you think you're going to need in the stock market now and go see an instant return, especially in a bear market like we in now. So whatever you're going to do, if you're going to be investing in the stock market, just to expect to either make minimal gains or to see very little gains for the next probably 3 years. You know what I'm saying? But in the event that you do invest now, when the market returns to a bull market, you're going to see some of the greatest returns that the stock market's ever seen. You might even, depending on how much you go in, you might even be very wealthy in the next 5 years. So I just wanted to touch on that briefly. You know what I'm saying?
I'm just holding it because my shit looking crazy right now. So I ain't even really paying attention.
Longevity, my brother.
Longevity, exactly. And you
I need to jump back into myself.
Yeah, and you can look at the stock charts. If a stock is over 20 years old, you can kind of see when it's been down, and if you kind of track it with what's been going on in our economy over those years, you can see like the pandemic was a major crash. 2008 was a major crash. Every recession that we hit, the stock market crashed. And then if you look at the returns right shortly after that, it's some of the greatest returns you ever see. I mean, like, because on average, the stock market is giving you 8% returns, just on average. You know what I'm saying? But some people were averaging 20, 35 in those, in those periods. So for those who I've been encouraging to open brokerage accounts and get into the stock market, just continue to do the same thing. Just like I said, don't be afraid now. But I ain't saying go all money in. Do your own research. You know what I'm saying? But and look at and do your analysis on these stock charts and start investing now. Because like I said, you ain't gonna see these prices like this probably for once we return to a bull market, man. You're not gonna see these prices again. It's gonna be a few years before you see these prices again. And right now, everything is under $200. You know what I mean? Amazon was trading early this year at $2,900. Tesla trading earlier this year at almost $3,000. Now they at like right under $300. You know what I'm saying? So if this is a great starting point for anybody who's not invested in the stock market to start building your portfolio. But like I said, expect to take some short term losses or not see that great returns. Was it somebody about to say something?
No, I was just gonna say, and if you lose any money, we'll have Jerome's contact information on our YouTube channel.
Hilarious. And also pay attention to the housing market. Anybody who's looking to become a first time homeowner, buy an investment property, right now it might seem like a bad time because the interest rates are so high. But if you look at like 1980s, the interest rates were 17% in the 80s. You know what I'm saying? Like now we right about 6% right now. Like on nationwide, what is it, Kendall? 6%, right? So even if you get in now, if you can manage to keep your credit good, you know what I'm saying, for the next few years, when these interest rates come back down, you can always refinance your house. I was
just gonna say refinance.
Yeah, refinance.
The way prices going down right now is definitely the time.
Yeah, because even here in Austin, with some of the highest national averages, I think in September, our median house value was $550,000. And after the last rate hike, it dropped all the way down to $495,000 median home price. So and that's way above the national average. So right now, if you're looking to buy a house, like I said, it's because of what the feds are doing. Like I said, you're gonna be paying a little bit more on the interest rate side, but the total you finance is gonna be lower because they pretty much forcing the housing market to crash right now. Same thing with the stock market. Yeah. Because inflation was just completely out of control. So it could be a good or bad thing depending on how you look at it. But I think it's a very good thing, especially if you're sitting on capital. I don't know how.
Absolutely. Spend that money, spread it.
Yeah, exactly. So,
spend money to make money.
Facts.
You have to.
Yeah. So that's all I had to add to that point. Just give y'all a little bit insight on investing and because like I said, we have been talking about it for a little while and we all been investing. So yeah. I don't know. Anything y'all got? Anything else to add?
Go Packers, go Bucks, go Brewers.
Yeah. Facts. Fuck. Yeah. Man, we got 4 more games, man. Yeah. Damn. Brewers lost last night. Tough loss. Damn it, I'm depressed. Thank you, Blaze. I forgot about that shit. Appreciate it. And House of the Dragon.
They got Arizona coming up. They'll make it up.
House of the Dragon.
Yeah, House of the Dragon.
Man, playing the weak ass Diamondbacks. So hopefully, but they it's tough games though. But the Diamondbacks, because they actually know how we play. We play them a lot in spring training and then during the season. So like the last series we played, I think they won like 3-1. So like it was just, they've been balling. So hopefully we win 3-1 because we got to pass up these Phillies and slide on in them playoffs for the wild card.
Yeah,
yes sir.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, man.
House of the Dragon.
Definitely House of the Dragon tonight. And don't forget next week the Packers play in London, so it's gonna be an early game. I like the energy of London had too, man. I don't know if it's because they don't get they don't get that kind of football over there. You know what I'm saying? But they got a different type of energy, and it was like
when they get them games, they be geeked.
Yeah, they be geeked. It was it almost felt like Super Bowl energy just watching that New Orleans game today. That was pretty dope to watch. I watched the game before we pod the Vikings and New Orleans Saints. And that what is it? Oclave? Is it Olave? What's that kid? Olave. Dude is nice, man. Like that, the rookie from Ohio State for New Orleans Saints. He nice. Yeah. So he didn't have the greatest game today, but that's because everybody is dead on New Orleans. Right? So they had that many weapons, but he had a decent game today.
Thanks, Dalvin Cook, for doing nothing.
All right.
For Minnesota. So,
Dalvin Cook. Yeah, thanks, Dalvin Cook.
That's because Jefferson had an amazing game today. That's why. Yeah, he was on fire.
Man, listen.
Yeah.
I done seen DK Mac pop on my screen like 10 times in the red zone. He ain't caught nothing.
DK
Mac. he doing all right, Trey.
Yeah.
I ain't checked though, so he might have a few catches, but he been in that red zone a lot though.
He got you 12.8 points so far.
DKJ, man.
But man, listen, I'm gonna get up out of here, man.
Why is his back so big?
No, we're not doing this. We're not doing this today. No.
It's bigger than Rome's, dog. And Rome is the biggest, tallest man we have, dog.
I'm almost 100% too. J Mac is the strongest man in the world too.
J Mac, I've lifted weights with J Mac before. He's strong
J
as
Mac is
fuck.
Mark Henry.
Yeah, he's strong. As fuck.
I think he could.
dog,
I really
he
think
definitely
he could
could be a
punch,
Marvel character.
Yeah,
I think he could punch a hole through a brick wall. Dog. I really do.
Hey,
Man,
we need to get back.
money,
We need to get back a superhero name.
all right,
That
dog,
is true because Jason's strong as hell too, and he's skin and bones.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
But listen, man, we gonna get up out of here. We're gonna stop talking about J Mac. But thank you for being a friend of the show, J Mac, and supporting the podcast and promoting it every week, man. We shout out to you, brother. But we gonna get up out of here, and we will see y'all next week with another episode of Unlabeled Podcast. We're gonna get back to the regular schedule, y'all. Peace.
That's the dragon.